to the Gardeners of 7B garden tour. We would like to give you a quick update on how things are going. Um, First, we would like to start at our blueberry bush because this is our project for the morning. It's to come out and harvest some of our blueberries. And as you can see, there's a lot of them. We probably have harvested at least, I would say, 4 or 5 times, which has been great. We probably have about another 4 or 5 times to come and harvest. So as you can see, they're so easy to take off once they're ready. Okay, we're not gonna, for the sake of the video, we're just gonna stop there so we can finish the tour. But we're delighted to have so many wonderful blueberries. This is the end of our pole beans. The Japanese beetles pretty much sucked the life out of them, and so we're going to start these over. And as you can see, there is a Japanese beetle there. You can tell what they look like if you've never seen one before. Okay, and so on this row here, we have a set of beans. We have a set of zucchini and squash, and again, this is the squash bug season, so we kind of use transfers to switch those out once they die all the way. This is another set of bush beans that we have, and you can see there's a lot of blooms, and so from the bloom you get a bean, right? So really excited about that. This is another zucchini or a squash plant that we have here. So we're just going to come on down a little bit, and we're going to take a look at this treasure here. Here we have mini watermelon, sugar baby, I think is what they're called, and we have about 4 of them and a few others that are growing. So we're trying our hand of using the vine, the runner method to grow those. We saw on another YouTube channel, so we're really excited about continuing to learn from others. Here we have another row of zucchini and squash there, but particularly we want to focus in on our bean bed. This is a raised bed that we have here, okay? And so this is inspiration variety of bush bean, and you see a lot of blooms there. Here we have a sunflower that's in the center. We also have a sunflower in the center here of another set of inspiration bush beans, and these have a lot of blooms. And so this one is more of your like Russian style sunflower versus this is like your standard. So we really like sunflowers, and we're really happy that we have them. This here is a cucumber bush, and so as you can see, we have some cucumbers forming there. Okay, this is a cantaloupe plant, and we do have cantaloupes forming. I think we have 2 with several others, and we try to make sure that we keep allowing it to run upward. Okay, all right, so we're just gonna take a small little turn over here. And here is a pallet bed that we have, and it has Swiss chard, basil in the center. We have a variety of cabbage collard, and then in the back we have parsley and a few kale. I think it's maybe 2 varieties of kale. Okay, so here's the cabbage collard, and then in the back we have kale. It's like 2 different varieties of kale. Okay. All right. So we're going to head in this direction. We're going to circle around so you can see the cinder block beds that we have. Okay. And this is a new addition to our garden. So as you can see, we have cinder blocks with pollinators growing outside of them. We have marigolds and a zinnia variety. And in the center here, we have sweet potatoes. Okay. On the other end of the next cinder blade, we have, of course, continuing our marigolds, but in the center, we have a bush variety called Serengeti. Okay, so we have harvested probably 4 or 5 times off of the Serengeti in the middle. And the nice thing about it is that we have some additional blooms. So we will be getting more off there. So we're going to head back in this direction and take a look at our corn. And of course, on our way to our corn, you can't miss that we do have another variety of zucchini and corn there. So our corn is doing very well. Okay, we have 2 sets of corn, and yes, you can grow corn in containers. And so this is our like 3rd year growing them, and they're looking very nice. This is an additional cucumber plant. It's just another variety that we have there. And before we get to our peppers, we want to just take a pause to look at our lettuce bed. And as you can see, we had to pull up a lot of our lettuce because it did bolt, but we do have some new seeds that are starting to come. We're waiting on our shade cloth, and so we will potentially cover it with shade cloth to help prolong. And so here we have garlic and onions. And so as you can see, the grass has grown up, and we will probably take some time to pull the grass out. So it's probably not more of our attractive looking bed, but it's working. We just need to pull some of the grass out. So again, our lettuce bed, we have harvested lettuce several times throughout the early part of the summer, the latter part of the spring, early part of the summer. So we are okay for it to kind of take a break, but we still have some to pick from. We have a series of peppers here. Our pepper plants are doing very well. We have harvested them, and there's several varieties. So some of them will turn red, some of them will stay green, some will be yellow. So we do have several varieties of peppers. Okay, and here's another variety of peppers. This is a few onions that we have growing in a container, and I'm thinking next year we're going to just grow all of our onion and garlic in a container because it looks neater than in the bed. Here we have a set of tomatoes, and we have several varieties. Not sure which variety this is, but it's doing very well. This one in the middle, I'm for sure, is a cherry plant, because if you can see at the bottom here, there are some cherry tomatoes there. And also there is another variety that's tangled in here with it, as you can see, because there is a bigger one, and I think it's called a celebrity. Okay, here's another tomato plant that's full of tomatoes. Here is a larger variety of our tomato plant. I don't know if you can see that. The big one in the middle is more of your beefsteak. Okay, so this is the one that you slice if you eat tomato sandwiches, or you want to put it on a burger or what have you. That's that variety. And here's another. Okay, and this is another larger variety, but not as large as the previous one we just showed you. And then following up with our last tomato plant. Okay, so we have several varieties of tomato plants. Here we have the start of a pepper plant. Okay, and so as it continues to progress, we'll give you more updates and information about the pepper plant. But right now, we're just going to let it hang out and do its thing. We have a kiwi plant here that's starting to grow, so that's like the first year of that, and so we're excited to see the progression of that. And here we have pole beans growing up in a container on chicken wire. It's doing very well, actually. In fact, some of the folk in my community where I grew up, this is how they grow their beans. And so I decided to try it out, and I actually really like how it's coming along. So we'll probably do that again. This is a pallet that we put together. It's 2 stacked on top, and we have beans on both sides, and in the center we have a Chinese spinach, which is beautiful. We've never tried the Chinese spinach, but it really looks nice. We're not sure how it's going to taste. We're hoping it's going to taste good. And we have some lettuce that's growing up in that one, and of course some beans. This is a sunflower that we are maximizing the stalk here. So we have pole beans growing up on the stalk. So Anxious to see how that's going to do, but as you can see, the beans are really growing up on it, and we have blooms. So we probably do more of those next year to kind of give us more options for runners, because it's really hard to find a solid trellis for the beans. Okay, and so that pretty much wraps up our garden. So we'll just give you a panoramic view here. So if you want to come on down, you can see how we have everything set up. We do have some flowers that haven't bloomed yet, so we're looking forward to those. And we have two strawberry beds, and they are still producing strawberries, believe it or not. We just honestly haven't been picking them. All right. So that's pretty much a conclusion of our tour. So thank you for tuning in, and remember to never stop growing.